Skyrunners 11 was fairly buggy. But hold your horses, this is a month later, as I've actually produced many patches to make sure the game is in pristine quality. And with Skyrunners 10 in the rear view, most of the bugs in Skyrunners 11 are thankfully fixed. Now, I will be going through testing every bug in this game in the current report list to see whether or not they have been fixed. And you know, who's to say that I am always right? You know, sometimes there might be a bug that I may or may not have fixed in the process. It's gonna be fun. I hope you enjoy. The very first bug I want to test is a map overlap. The thing, how this works is when you select a map and then you go into training, if you select any map that is not training and you select training, it just loads together. So we'll start off with this one. And then we load training. Okay, that's patched there. Okay, well that's one thing fixed kinda. I'll test that more later. Incorrect hand rotation on switch character. This was untested, but it was more broken than earlier patches, as I realized that switching a character would just not reload the previous hand movement when you were on your previous character. This, on the other hand, was thankfully repatched. But it's not fixed. Home run out of bounds soft lock. When you go into home run contests, the game would have a barrier here as soon as you start. The only issue being, if you were to try to exit the map or out of bounds when you were not supposed to with the barrier on, it would soft lock you. This, indeed, has been patched, because now it respawns you properly. Super Evan loses his abilities without wearing off. Well, that's been unpatched because I actually had this happen to me a couple times, so that is not fixed, so I'm not going to worry about that. Hazards in the finale do no damage or knockback. We are going to see if the boss enemies and hazards do any damage to Super Evan while he's in the finale. Let's see, do this. Okay, that is one thing I fixed. Yeah, the music overlap is also fixed apparently. If you reload the map of training and then you turn after you go on to Doomsday, it is fixed. So that is kind of patched, but you can actually basically fix the audio overlap by actually just joining. Now, of course, the reason why I didn't count the Super Evan music as a overlap is because this is just because it's inside your body as an audio cue. This is not really out of intentions. Out of bounds soft lock. At any given point when you go out of bounds, the game will kill you. However, at some points, the game will just stick you out of bounds forever if you deem to go too fast or break the game sequentially. So, let's see. Do we get soft lock to go out of bounds? Oh. Yes! That has been thoroughly fixed. And we lost our abilities when playing as Super Evan but not wearing off. So that is not fixed, but the out of bounds soft lock is patched. Respawn forced by airship. This was patched because I actually made it to where it disables when you reload into the finale. instead of it just animating going downwards. This was the way I could fix that. Low frame rates and crashes, fixed. Boost loop on Switch models. When you switch to a different player model while boosting a Super Evan, the game would just never stop the audio. This was patched. Practice soft lock. If at any given point where basically the sandbag would fall out of bounds, you would get soft locked in a never-ending loop of respawn murder. However, thanks to the patch that I applied to this game, that is no longer the case. Now, the bag respawns when you re-enter training. Oh. Well, that's new. It's not on my list because I did not think it was possible. But that is something I have to keep an eye out for. It's not a bad bug, it's just a little nitpick. But yep, thoroughly patched. Permanent shield bug was thankfully fixed, so people couldn't just cheat. Apparently, if you put up your shield as Super Evan, that's an invincibility shield, and then you switch characters, this is patched. But it would actually never end, never stop coming around you, and then it would just never end. This was thankfully fixed, because now people have to actually stay on the character and wait for the duration to end and to reactivate it. No skybox change on map change. Kind of patched. You see, most maps would not let you actually switch actual skyboxes with the previous one. For instance, let's take Doomsday Galaxy for example. The only reason why this didn't switch is because it had a matching one. However, if you were to switch to a different map, it would take away the skybox and put it with the new one. Congratulations, Dondi Games. You get another point. You did fix that. Except one small thing. You didn't take an account for me actually checking training, did you? Ah. That is a bug on my list that I did not think would happen. Wait, what the heck is this? Huh. So, if you do some sequence breaking by switching maps, and then you switch training, sometimes it would despawn. Huh. Now, if I actually click it, oh, this is gonna be an issue, isn't it, with the hammer? Oh. I'm not soft lock, but that is a problem. So, this is a glitch that's not on my list that I did not think would happen. Indestructible airship. Patched. Unplayable basketball. This was also patched because apparently when you switch to the basketball mode, the balls fall, but it does not fix your movement. Because apparently somehow when you touch yourself with a basketball, the game goes, yeah, close enough when it comes to movement, and just lets it happen anyways. Next, movement bug on item pickup not fixed. No score on basketball made. Well, that's been kind of patched. because there's no scoreboard to display that can be broken, so I kind of fixed it. Offline clone models online. When you go online, you would actually have the option to go offline. The only walk to this was the opposite of a cakewalk, because if you actually go offline while connected to a lobby, it would just clone your model with the online one. This has been patched. Shadow dodge exploit. This exploit was very abusive in the game's core aspect. If you were to switch to a character you can actually turn off Super Evan at any time, and then switch to Shadow Evan or any character, and then if you're playing as Shadow Evan, you can turn invisible, and this was also fixed to where you can actually basically turn invisible for a short amount of time before being kicked out. Although, if you switched to any character at any given point while the shadow dodge was active, it would not end. This, thankfully, was also patched, where if you actually switch characters, it stops its movement it stops the activity of the active movement. It just resumes your character model. Offensive names without ban. This has been patched because, for instance, let me just do something here. This has been thoroughly patched. And not only has it been patched, well, the game also punishes me with another soft lock and a ban return. But thankfully, I fixed it to where if you were to some reason get banned with a hammer, you can fix the issue by removing your name and putting it with a name that is not a bad one. And the game punishes me with another soft lock in return because it kicks me out every time. So that's a restart. Stay in room when KO'd. This was also kind of patched. If you turn off respawning, I'm going to turn on Super Evan just so I can test this. If you fly out of bounds at any given point and you're in a room, it just kills you and you don't even return to the lobby anymore. Wow. So you have to leave the lobby if you want to actually continue. Game cannot play at startup. That's been patched. And inaccurate ban times is possibly patched. Not been tested either because I have not seen this glitch before. So that brings us to the final score of 21 out of 30 glitches fixed. Which brings how much the game that I fixed? 70% of the game in 2.1.3 patch. Does that mean that now what the answer is the game fully fixed? Well, no. But the game is fully playable and can be played possibly without glitches. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a good day.